Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of the Clean Slate, your weekly golf preview show on DK TV. My name is Geoff Ulrich. We're going to be talking about the upcoming week in daily fantasy golf, specifically the Waste Management Open. Yes, players are headed to Phoenix this week for one of the funnest and rowdiest stops on tour. If you haven't checked out the DraftKings lobby yet, definitely do it right after you check out this video. There's a ton of great fantasy tournaments on there for golf. My favorite's to Drive the Green. It's only a $3 entry, but it's $50,000 to first place. So it's a really great way to play for small stakes, to still have exposure to those big prizes. Great way to sort of start off fantasy golf if you haven't yet. I definitely recommend checking it out after you listen to this video. But we'll get right into it this week. We'll get right into the slate notes. The course this week is TPC Scottsdale. As I mentioned before, it's in Phoenix. The course is going to play a lot easier than it did last week. If you watched the tournament last week, you saw the players struggle a lot, especially on the weekend with that bad weather. I don't think you'll see the same thing this week. The weather's supposed to be great. The course is going to play a lot easier. The winners there have been around minus 15, minus 16 the last couple of years, and I expect the same sort of winning score this week. It's a par 71, about 7,300 yards at its longest. And there's three really short, easy par fives that are the main scoring holes. There's also a drivable par four on the 17th hole, which is a lot of fun. Probably going to play a big factor on Sunday. It's much more wide open overall. It's a desert course, so accuracy off the tee, not a huge deal this week. Probably going to favor those longer hitters. And I think you'll see a lot of birdies overall. So tournament tips for this week, I would definitely favor the longer hitters on a course like this. I think with the par 5 scoring being so important, those longer hitters are going to have an advantage. They're going to be able to reach a lot of them in two, have more eagle opportunities, and also have a lot of eagle opportunities on that drivable par 4. So I'd look for players who are good in par 5 scoring stats, but also have good length off the tee. As far as course history goes, that's going to be a big factor this week too. This tournament's been played at this course for a long time, so we have quite a bit of data to go on. Some players with some really nice course histories here. Bubba Watson, he's finished twice in consecutive years here. This is one of his favorite courses, and when Bubba's playing a course that he likes, he generally plays pretty well. So he's a player I'd kind of be afraid to play fade here, I should say, this week. Ryan Moore has a really nice history here as well. He's made 7 cuts in a row, 3 top 10s and 2 top 20s, so he's got a really nice, consistent course history. Brandon Steele, he's played well in the desert. Past 5 years, recorded finishes of 6th or better a couple times. So he plays well this event as well. He's got good length off the tee. And then you have Phil Mickelson. He's won this event a couple times. He was raised in Scottsdale, so he's very familiar with the course. Phil's always boom or bust. He missed the cut last week, but he did play well in the desert a couple of weeks ago. So, maybe a tournament pick with Phil this week. He's definitely got the course history to come through. Let's talk about some studs, the guys at the top of the salary range this week. And in my opinion, it is a good week for a stars and scrubs approach. There's a lot of talent up there, a lot of guys coming in who are going to be worth paying up for. We already talked about Bubba. He loves this course, definitely suits his eye and can crush those par 5s. Then you have Brandt Snedeker as well. He played amazing last week, shot an absolutely crazy round in horrible weather. Got a new driver helping him out with some length. So that's going to come in. He's obviously coming in hot with that driver as well. He's a great play. Then you have Ricky Fowler. He's probably going to go under-owned this week just because he missed the cut last week and burned a bunch of people. But don't forget, 2 weeks ago, he beat Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy in Europe. So it's not like he's out of form right now either. He could definitely come through this week for a big one. Brooks Koepka, defending champ, really talented young player. He can crush those par 5s as well and just crushes it off the tee in general. Hideki Matsuyama, 4th place and 2nd place here in his last 2 starts. He loves this layout as well. It suits him very well. And then you have Justin Thomas. He just kills the par 5s. First and par 5 birdies or better last year. I think this course sets up great for Justin Thomas, so don't be surprised if he has a big week too. Let's talk about some sleepers, though. Let's talk about some value plays. There's a couple players at 7,600 that I'm really interested in. Hunter Mahan and Graham Dillette both have really nice course histories. Mahan's actually a former winner here. I think they're both going to go low owned. I like them both for this course this week. Dillette kind of had a bad weekend last week, but he played well at the Sony Open to start the year. Then you have Jason Kokrak at 6,800. He hits it a ton off the tee too and can really kill those par 5s. I think that he's going to go very overlooked, and I think he could come through with a top 20 or top 10. And then a real sleeper play, a real sort of tournament flyer pick, Angel Cabrera. He's only 6,200. 15th here last year, though, and he can still crush it off the tee. When he gets hot on those par 5s, he can rack up the birdies really quickly. So he's kind of an interesting tournament flyer. Definitely a boomer bust play, though. My favorite plays, and just some general advice for the week, don't overthink those top players. A lot of players coming in good and hot. I definitely get some exposure to Bubba, to Brandt Snedeker and to Brooks Koepka. I think the course sets up really well for those top players. I do like some of those players in the 9,000 range as well, though. Justin Thomas and David Lingworth. Both players have really nice histories in the desert playing in similar courses. So I won't be shocked if one or both contend for the title this week. Just some final thoughts. It should be a really great week of golf. There's a great theater sort of stadium hole on the 16th. Always great for TV. So it's a great week to start out playing fantasy golf if you haven't yet this year. My pick to win is probably going to be Justin Thomas, but I do think it's going to be a wide open event, and it's probably going to come down to those last few holes, especially that drivable 17th that always sort of gives up a lot of birdies. So just in closing, make sure you check out the DraftKings Playbook after you're done watching this video. There's a ton of great fantasy articles over all the main sports. You can also find my fantasy golf articles there week to week. My name's Geoff Ulrich, guys. I hope you have a great week of golf, and we'll talk to you again next week.